Today I'm going to be talking about a package I received from one of my very best friends on YouTube, full of Nintendo games to help me complete my NES Complete Collection Chronicles. So first up, I guess I should explain the picture. You see, a long time ago, my friend Ed T1138, as most people know him, actually sent a package out to another friend of mine, OKG420, and Rich is going for a complete SMS collection. SEMS. Rich is going for a complete SEM collection. I did it again. Rich is going for a complete SMS collection, and Rich has in turn helped Ed complete his SMS collection, Sega Master System, and Ed returned the favor. So of course I commented on the Facebook post that, oh man, I would love to have one of these 8x10s like he sent to Rich. And of course Ed, in his just amazing, kindness, decided he was going to send me a package of NES games I needed for my collection, and he decided to include an 8x10, so I'm very excited for this. I've had this picture for a while now. I still don't have a frame, but as soon as I get a frame, I'm going to hang it up here in my game room, so it's one of my most prized possessions. For those of you who don't know Ed, Ed has been on YouTube for a little over 3 years now. Ed's one of the first people I started watching on YouTube. He did this wonderful thing called Top 3 Tuesday, which was a weekly program he did where he talked about his top 3 items, different topics each time. It might be top 3 games, top 3 items, top 3 systems, but it was a really, really cool endeavor, and it created a lot of, I guess, video responses throughout the community throughout the week, and, there was a sense of community that was really built from that. And actually, on top of getting to know Ed, who's an amazing guy, I got to know some of my very favorite people here on YouTube. People that became friends on YouTube, and some people that just became friends. And there's still people that I watch and follow today, so that's something you should check it out for. It also has one of the most incredible collections you'll ever see. It has almost every single Sega Master System game, almost all the Genesis games, Nintendo. You think about it, Ed probably has it. All except for a Turbo Duo. Anyways, guys, go check my really good friend Ed T1138 out. One of the best people you'll ever meet on YouTube, and a person that I'm very thankful enough to call friend. So guys, let's take a look at what I got this week.
You suck, Michael B. the Game Genie.
So guys, everything that I have for this May update came from the package that Ed gave me. Ed sent me 8 games. Unfortunately, I had one of them already, which got confused, I'm guessing, with another title, which is the original title. He sent me Track and Field 2. I need Track and Field 1, so sorry, Ed, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. So he sent me 7 games I needed for my collection. Let's take a look at them. First up is a Tengen release I didn't have, and I've got to be getting close to having all the Tengen games now. But this one is Vindicators. Well, Vindicator is an interesting tank destroy game. I don't really know what to say about it. Overall, it's not the best release from Tengen, and it's not one of the best games on the NES, but it's a game I needed, and one I'm very thankful that Ed sent me, but it's not one I think I'm going to put a lot of time into. I really can't say a lot of really good things about Vindicators. I'm not sure if it was an arcade port or what its history was. I just know that it's a game on the NES that I'm not in love with, but I don't really like those tank-style games anyways. I find the tank moves really slow. I don't like the controls. I don't like the colors on the screen. Vindicators is a game you can probably pass up if you're just looking to find fun games on the NES. Next up is a game show game, and one I didn't have. That's right, Wheel of Fortune! Family Edition. Well, Wheel of Fortune, I mean, what do you say? It's Wheel of Fortune on the NES. Overall, you know what? It's actually pretty fun. The good things I've got to say about it, It's pretty simple and straightforward. You don't really need a lot to play it. And if you like Wheel of Fortune, you're going to like this game. One thing I want to give it a lot of credit for is they give you ample time to fill out the puzzle. It's not one of these games like sometimes in anticipation I'm freaking out trying to get the words spelled out quick enough. With Wheel of Fortune, they give you plenty of time to get your answer in, so great job, Game Tech. Next up is a game I already have, and I really like it, but I have it as part of a dual cart. It comes with Super Spike B-Ball / Nintendo World Cup, but I never got around to finding the actual cartridge for the standalone World Cup, until Ed sent it to me. Nintendo World Cup. How fitting do I get this game right around the same time that the actual FIFA World Cup actually starts. To tell you the truth, I love this game. I love all of these games in the series because I kind of tie this in with Super Dodgeball because I really like the big characters, I like the destructive play nature, and I love Super Spike B-Ball, but Nintendo World Cup is really fun. It's actually a great soccer game. If you're a fan of soccer and big River City Ransom looking characters kicking the poop out of each other, this is a fun game for you. Did I ever tell you how much I love the early Capcom releases with the weird kind of like graphic coming out the grid? Reminds me of early Transformers. Anyways, I love the early Capcom games, and I think I've got just about all of them now. Like I've got Mega Man, I've got Section Z, I've got Gunsmoke, but one game I didn't have that Ed found for me, Trojan. Well, Trojan is a very interesting action platformer, side-scrolling action platformer, but it's not the best game. What I'd really consider to anybody that's a TurboGrafx-16 fan, it's Legendary Axe, except it sucks. I'm not saying it's that bad. It's not a terrible game, but it's just not one of my favorites on the system. I haven't played it much, so I'm going to go back and give it another shot, but so far, Trojan is not a game I'm in love with. Next up is a game made by one of my least favorite developers on the system, Acclaim. Everybody trashes on LJN, but Acclaim are actually my least favorite. And I know the games aren't necessarily made by them, they're made by somebody else. Like, I believe Rare actually makes this game. Anyways, here's a game that, to me, is more fitting to be on the Sega Master System using the 3D glasses, but you know what? It actually turned out to be pretty interesting. 3D World Runner. Or the 3D Battles of World Runner. This is definitely one of the most interesting games on the NES. Not saying that it's really good, just interesting. I love the way that the screen scrolls forward, the enemies are coming at you. It's very interesting. You don't see a lot of games like that on the system. But overall, the play is not super fun. It's not terrible, but it's just not something I'm really interested in. And it took me a while to get used to the jumping and the mechanics. So overall, not a super great game, but hey, you know what? It is fun, and it is really interesting. It's got an interesting SMS look for the NES. Next up is a game that's actually surprisingly hard to find, and it's one that I've been looking for a long time. Most of you know I'm a huge fan of Pat the NES Punk, and I remember one of his early reviews when he did the 3 casino games, one of which happened to be this game, Caesar's Palace. Well, Caesar's Palace is pretty straightforward. You show up in your taxi at Caesar's Palace and you start gambling. There's couple different gambling modes. You can go to the slot machines and play flush bonus poker. There's your standard Lucky 7, and for the actual gambling games you can play either blackjack or I think it's craps, I think it's called. I'm not a gambling person, so I don't really know. Anyways, you know what? For what it is, it's pretty fun. For me, not a game I'm going to play a ton, but hey, it's interesting. If you're into games of chance, a casino, this might be one you're interested in. Last up is a game that actually harkens back to the first game I pulled out, but it's so much better. And it's made by one of my favorite developers on the NES, SNK. Actually, one of my favorite games growing up was Prisoner of War by SNK, so every time I see an SNK game on the system, I take notice. And this is one I didn't have. Iron Tank. I said earlier that tank games weren't really my style. That's not something I necessarily loved. But I will tell you, when I was playing Iron Tank, I got a different feel for it. I mean, just the way that it's based, it's not in some kind of futuristic space-type showdown. It's actually grounded in reality, and it's got a cool story, and you're out in the jungle actually blowing up other tanks and enemies coming at you. I like the art style, I like the way it looks. I'm not necessarily a tank guy, but it plays kind of differently. It plays more like it reminds me of Jackal on the NES. Just not as good. Anyways, Iron Tank is a fun game, well designed, and made by SNK, who are synonymous with making some great games on the NES, and hey, some pretty decent war games. So anyways, I think, personally, Iron Tank's worth a look. So for those of you who've been following along at home, that's 7 new games to my NES collection. Last time I was at 583, which brings my May total up to 590 games, 10 away from 600. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and again, I want to say thank you so much to Ed. Ed, this means the world to me. You were one of the first people I started watching on YouTube. You were one of my idols, I guess, when I started doing this, and I love the fact that we're so close and we'll reach out sometimes today, and the fact that you would send me that package, just, I can't say thank you enough. Anyways, guys, again, go check out Ed. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Don't worry, Ed. I've got my eye on you, too.
You suck, Michael B. the Game Genie.